Good Saturday evening, everybody. This is an unprecedented live that I'm doing. I couldn't even connect to Rumble. The weather outside is horrible. And so I'm doing the best I can. This is short notice. So earlier this evening, I was tagged on TikTok to a video that actually was put out May 9th, 2024. Now, I shared that with you, but what I'm going to do is let me get it for you, and I'm going to share it again. It's on the YouTube here, but I'm going to incorporate it into this show so that for anybody that's not watching or who just started watching, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. Okay. Might be considered a short. No, it's actually a video. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this video for you. And then we're going to go over what this young lady is talking about. Let me get the headphones on. Now, just stay with me, okay? And then I'm going to give you some answers. Because a couple of you in the chat were going, please. No, I wish I was saying somebody was arrested. But please listen to what this young lady is saying. And then we'll go over it real quick.
Okay, everyone, I want you to really just hang in there and y'all about to hear some shit. So I just discovered this thing about the Mica Miller woman that died yesterday. Now, on Tuesday, me and my sister was on the phone. We talked for an hour and 30 minutes. The call came in at 6:11 p.m. Why? While me and my sister was on that phone, she told me, stop. She said, hold on, you don't hear that? And I said, hear what? I don't hear anything. And I'm getting creeped out because I'm like, what is she talking about? I'm at home by myself. She said, someone's calling 911 and they're talking about they're lost in a national forest. And then I went to say something. She said, wait a minute. She said, I'm trying to get the number. It's an 839 number. And I'm like, well, what else are they saying? She said, the lady's saying that she wants her family to know where she is. Now, I didn't think nothing about this. So I'm sitting here minding my business, scrolling on TikTok. The third video I find today was about someone talking about that lady solving her own murder. So I went and hit the little search button thing at the bottom. And when it shows you all the videos, there's a link to that type of information. The first one I come across was Mica Miller's 911 call. And y'all, when I tell you I played that video and I about shitted myself, yeah, I said what I said. Because that's how it took me. And I listened. And it sounded like every damn thing that my sister said verbatim. And then when I look at the date that it was made, it was 5/7/24. So now I'm getting chills talking about it, Jesus. So now I got to do my search. So I look up the 839 area code. It's in South Carolina. Now I'm like, let me go see where she was. Y'all, she was in South Carolina. Now, I don't know why my sister was supposed to hear that call and what she could have did to save that woman's life. But there's some higher at work right here because she's in Ohio. My sister is in Ohio. I live in Florida. The lady was in South Carolina. Now, if anybody can understand what just took place there and why my sister heard what she heard, please do comment. I'm sorry about the long video. I usually don't even make them, but this is some real shit.
Okay, so I'm seeing this for the first time today. 839 is what area code then? Where is 839 located, Christy? Do you know? Right, so where's 839? Okay, well, then let's look it up, I guess. 839 area code. South Carolina. So, all right, so she was correct. All right, so what I did was, now it is in South Carolina. That's right. So this was made May 9th. So this, let me take these stupid things off. They give me a headache. So what I did was, I'm looking into this, okay? I contacted this lady. I asked her if it was a cell phone call or a landline. I'm waiting. And well, it can't be that new because this was a year ago. The date on it is May 9th, 2024. The conversation between the two sisters was May 7th. I find it very interesting that May 7th is the day that Robeson County had put out where they had ended their or concluded their investigation and put out their PowerPoint presentation. I find that very interesting. It's on both on the same day. Now, I contacted her and asked her who her provider is and who her sister's provider is. And as I said, whether it was landline or cell phone, and I'm waiting for her to respond. However, I went and researched in AI, just to get some sort of a, well, I'm going to give you the answer, Carrie, because when I put this video up, I had a lot of people in the chat going, Ann, please come on. But I know nothing about TT. You can change images, display new times on IG Reels. Can you do that on YT or no? This is odd. I don't know, BoobTube. That's why I reached out to the lady. But let me give an answer to at least what is said about this. So what I did was I put in the AI, a 911 call made on April 27th in North Carolina was heard in bits and pieces 10 days later by two sisters talking on the phone, one in Ohio and the other in Florida. Only the sister in Ohio heard it. How can this be? So the call from April 27th might have somehow been captured or crossed into a communication channel used by the Ohio sister's phone. This can happen due to, one, cross signals or line bleed. Older landline systems or even some cell networks can sometimes pick up stray signals, allowing bits of old conversations to bleed into a current call. Two, voicemail glitch. If the 911 call was accidentally recorded or partially saved in a voicemail system and not properly cleared, it could play back unexpectedly during an unrelated call. Three, radio interference. In rare cases, poorly shielded devices or local radio interference can cause snippets of other communications to be heard. And four, network caching issue. Modern digital networks sometimes use temporary data storage, which is not cleared, can cause delayed playback. Now, I also looked more into how this could happen with a VoIP because we believe that the 911 call that was made was a VoIP. Now, how can this happen? Recording mix-up. If the first call was recorded and somehow got accidentally played during the second call, perhaps due to a glitch or human error. The most likely one is a network data leak. If both calls were handled by the same carrier or interconnected networks, a technical fault could mix the data streams, though this is, they say, could be considered rare. Network or device echo issues. Sometimes hardware or network issues can cause audio from a previous call to bleed into a future one, but this is also rare. Usually results from faulty equipment. And once again, recording or caching. If a call was recorded intentionally or unintentionally and then played back during another call, it might seem like an echo, but this isn't a direct VoIP echo. Now, hold on, there's more. So there's buffer overflow or memory corruption. There's network congestion or jitter buffers. There's also something called man in the middle. how it happens if an attacker intercepts or replays VoIP data, they could unintentionally introduce fragments of an old call into a new one. Now, why do I think that's part of it? Waiting on another important live to be at. I will stay as long as I can. Okay, BoobTube, no problem. This was an unexpected live anyway. I'm only doing this because a few people in the chat said, Anne, please come on and explain it. Remember that on May 7th, when this call took place between the two sisters, allegedly, this is what she's claiming, is the same day, as I said, that Robeson County came out and said they concluded their investigation and put out their PowerPoint presentation. If an attacker intercepts and replays VoIP data, they could unintentionally introduce fragments of an old call into a new one. Now, here's the thing about that. What can cause it is weak encryption, compromised network security, or poorly configured firewalls. Remember that we found, and I think it was Danielle, so I'm going to give her props, that Reginald Miller owned 2 VoIPs. Okay? Remember that. So the possibility of this happening is there. I don't believe that they are so technically advanced they would know how to secure it. Did Robeson County happen to play it on that day of May 7th? Or, as we got the answer to, it could have been the April 27th call. Think about your internet for a second. VoIP is voice over internet protocol, and it can be made through a cellular provider. It's not always through the internet. So however this call was made on April 27th, okay? Yes, can pick up VoIP. That is right. VoIP is voice over internet protocol. Like many devices or as the internet is, there is temporary internet files, the cache. That's what caching means, and that's what they're indicating. So I have to find out what the sisters were using. Were they talking over a cell phone? Who was their provider? I'm not going to tell them the provider of the Millers because I want to hear their answer. I don't want to put the power of suggestion in them. So I want to hear at the time of May 7th, what was the Ohio sisters? It was really the sister in Ohio. What provider was she using? What type of device was she using? Was it a landline? Was it a cell phone call? I don't know. So all of these things matter, and I'm waiting to hear. But this is the whole point of putting that up this evening. God does not want to let this go. You know, I was going to do a video on Monday and go back to, the March 17th. Take care, BoobTube. Thank you so much for all your help. God bless me. God does not want to let this go. Like I said, I'm still going to do it Monday. I was going to go back to the March 17th sermon where JP talks about demons and all this other stuff coming out of him and put that together, parallel that with his personality analysis and show the probability of that he was the one who at least orchestrated the ending of Mica. But this came up. It was like every time I'm out of information, God dumps something else. As most people said in this chat, they remember seeing this last year. This is the first time I'm seeing this tonight. I've been on TikTok for quite some time. I've never seen this video. And all of a sudden, this video comes around to my attention. So I find that interesting. God is not letting this go. Another thing that came to my attention this evening, and actually, I have to give Agatha May credit for this. The gentleman that opened up the gate for Chris mentioned nothing about chess. They were talking about football. And with that being said, it seems that he seems to be very friendly with Susie as well. No, Carrie, I didn't see this a year ago. I just saw this maybe an hour ago. Maybe an hour and a half, and I've been digging and digging and digging into VoIPs and cell phones and networks, and I'm not done. I've got people working on it to get me a solid answer. The best solid answer I could get right now is what AI is saying. Yeah, it's all God's timing. I've never seen it either, Melissa. I like I said, I've been on TikTok. I mean, probably every day. Well, I saw a couple of people, Michelle, that were like, "And come on and explain this to us. Why would God want this to be seen?" I mean, what's today's date? The 10th. Literally, this is a year ago yesterday. Think about it. For the first time yesterday or today, and this is May 9th, 2024. That's what it's dated. Misty Gypsy had reposted it and then tagged me and a bunch of other content creators. And I just happened to go and check on how the protest was doing. And then all of a sudden I looked at this and somebody said, "You better watch this." And I was like, okay. And I watched it and I felt, that, how do you explain it? That butterfly feeling, like something's happening here. God is putting way too much to the forefront. Why would these two sisters who are having an hour and a half conversation, why would one sister hear bits and pieces of what Mica's saying? She was on a cell. Morgan, can you do me a favor and tagged me again in another video, what, tonight? Was it this evening? Or can you re-tag me? It was on a cell phone on TikTok. Let me just look real quick while I have you sitting there, okay? Was it a private message? Let me see. Is your name Morgan on there? It is the fake 911 call. That's the whole point. Very good, LJ. It is the point. Just now. Okay. What's your name on there, hon? Can you tell me? I don't see a Morgan. I don't see a Morgan at all. Wait a minute. Let me look here. What's your name on there? Deb, the live will be on YouTube. It's not going anywhere. So you can watch it. Oh, okay. I see it. May have been a cell. All right. Thank you. May have been a cell. Okay. Has anything ever happened to her like this before? Okay, I will watch it when I get off. They never go through? I wonder why. That's very odd. But you can always find me on Facebook. Rumble wouldn't even go through tonight. So I have to download this video now and put it on Rumble. It's such a pain in the butt. Okay, I'm going to listen to her as soon as I get off. But the point is, it's the timing. As I said, this is May 9th, 2024. May 9th, 2025 was yesterday. May 10th, I see this video for the first time. Why? God does not want this to die. He does not want this case to go cold. He's made this perfectly clear. And as soon as we stop talking about it, something else comes up. But anyway, and we're still looking into, or at least I'm looking into, with Agatha May. I mean, not with her, not aside her, but I'm very interested in why she's bringing up this neighbor and what it's all about. So I'm looking into him as well. Oh no, it's never going to go cold. No way. But I think that we hit the nail on the head when we found out that, or we figured there was a VoIP used last year. And if you remember me, Danielle, BoobTube TV, we all came to that conclusion. And then I'm almost positive it was Danielle that found Reginald Miller owned 2 VoIPs. And I actually contacted Danielle tonight to ask her if she would find that information so that we can, re-report it again alongside what this girl is saying. So I'm just waiting for this girl to respond as well. I really, really want to know who her provider is, or the sister's provider, really. I think it really matters who the sister's provider is. Yeah. Oh, I hope Tamara doesn't shut down. And no matter what the FMs do, she should keep going. She has every right to say whatever she wants when she wants. I think it's absolutely moronic that any of these flying monkeys or anybody, or the king and queen of flying monkeys, thinks that she has no right to talk about her own brother. She could talk about whatever she wants. And I just love these keyboard warriors that say, all of a sudden now you want to talk about Chris. What the hell's wrong with you? Of course she does. That's her brother. She's been siblings with him longer than Susie's been married to him. So they need to bite me. Okay. They need to get over it. So I've been watching her pages and I'm ready to attack. So I'm letting you know, flying monkeys, right now, I'm going to take you down. And I'm going to take you down hard. And I'm much wittier and smarter than you are, so I wouldn't even try. But I'll find it to be a lot of fun if you want to try me, because I'm looking to protect Tamara. I already told her I have her back. So, and I mean it. She is full of God's spirit, but I'm like a Simon. I protect the ones that need to be protected. And I'm tired of these people. I don't know who's saying it. It's a flying monkey. It could be John Paul. It could be Susie. It probably is. I hope to Jesus that her attorney exposes who's behind these. Tonight ain't the night. What does that mean? I don't know what that means, Sarah. Thank you, Crystal. Thank you, Crystal. Well, again, I just find this very intriguing on why God would bring this to my attention. So obviously this needs to be looked into. God chooses what night it is, Sarah. Whatever night and time it is, it's up to God. So, yes, initially it was Susie. It was Susie that told her, and I think that Tamara should tell her to get bent. Tonight ain't the night. Oh, for flying crap. Oh yeah, I agree. You have 2 phones, both never work. She can absolutely do. Listen, if it was one of your siblings or my siblings, nobody would ever tell me to stop talking about them. So, especially a woman who refused to feed and clean him, you tell her to get lost. She didn't care about him when he was alive, and all of a sudden she cares about him now? Whatever. Anyway, so I find this woman's video interesting, very, very interesting. And you know me, I'm going to get to the bottom of it. But like I said, and I came on because a couple of you in the chat under that video were like, Anne, please go live. What's going on? So I wanted to give you an explanation. I wanted to be able to explain what I found and what we were looking into. But this was the answer I got, was that VoIPs can be very voice over internet protocol, their data can bleed into other calls. It is possible. And it's, it really has a lot to do with the strength and the security of the network that's being used. So for example, like I said earlier, hi Tamara, how are you doing? Like I said, it is possible to use a VoIP on a cellular provider. It doesn't always have to be over the internet. So let's just say someone did use this over cellular, and it's the same provider as this woman. That would explain a lot. But again, I find it very, very odd how it's on May 7th. May 7th is the day Robeson County concluded their investigation and put out that PowerPoint presentation. So I can't let that go. Absolutely, Tamara. Oh, absolutely. And I'm relentless. I'm like a dog with a bone. I don't let it go. So I've been attacked by the flying monkeys, and I attack back in a good way, not vulgar, but I definitely put them in their place. Why is the video 2 days later? I don't know. I have no idea. Oh, I know why it's 2 days later. I think because the girl said she was looking through TikTok and came across Mica's 911 call, and it freaked her out because it was literally word for word what her sister said she heard on their call. So I guess that's what made her feel led to make a TikTok, video. The whole thing is odd. The whole thing is really, really odd. So there's my explanation on why I put up that video. Give me some time to look into it. Monday I will come back on. Tomorrow is I understand, Tamara. No, I understand. And I really hope that, and let me say this for you. If you are truly hiring an attorney, and if you guys are going to, I will absolutely be a witness for you. I will even go to court for you. I'll be absolutely glad to do that for you because I've seen it and I've been under it and I have proof of it. So I never let that proof go. So I will absolutely help you in any way I can. Good, great, awesome. So I'm going to come back Monday, and we will go over. We're going to do the personality analysis next to that March 17th. I did go over the one September 5th, 2021, and there really wasn't much. Well, okay, there was some things there we could go over the day before Chris passed away. There was some stuff, and I could see why Chris would be very angry. I can see it because of the things that John Paul was insinuating on the altar. I would be mad too. We could go over that as well. But I'm gonna do the March 17th, 2024 sermon first, and then we'll do the Chris one, okay? So, and I'm gonna look into this more. I'm hoping this lady will contact me and let me know what her sister's provider is. And we will keep digging. It's not over until it's over. But anyway, thank you guys for joining me so quickly. Anybody that's looking for this on Rumble, give me about an hour or so and I'll be able to get this on Rumble. I just had some trouble getting on. I don't know what's wrong with Rumble tonight. But anyway, thank you guys for joining me. Have a great Mother's Day. And until I see you guys again, please stay safe and God bless.